Hey, Steve at Foxcan Farms. Today we're going to do something a little different with our freeze dryer. We're going to freeze dry some roses, some flowers. These, if you recognize those are chives. We just kind of grabbed those. One of my daughters had this idea that maybe we could freeze dry some flowers, so we're going to give that a try. Thought I'd show you what I did here with these flowers. Now there's these little grates in here you can see. All I did is take a small, by the way, that's the alarm for that thermometer that's on the front telling us that the temperature is too warm. Again, take a look at our video on that, but all I did was take some real small wire, I think it's actually used for flowers, and wrapped it and then hung them so that the petals would be downward and wouldn't have any sort of getting crushed or bent issues with the flowers, so they're pretty good shape. So what I'm going to do next is get these loaded on the trays, and then we're going to get them into the freeze dryer, and we're going to see how they turn out. Got my neoprene gloves on. These are for ice fishing. They work great for your freeze dryer or just working in your freezer. Love them. Okay, here we are. We just have a few flowers. We're just doing an experiment here. And my youngest daughter had this idea. She had a question, could you do that? So we're trying that. Normally we've got our stuff. I hope it doesn't thaw too much here because they're starting to get soft on us. Normally we use the freezer right next to our freeze dryer, but we're using the one out in the garage. You can take a look at our other videos. We've got a new freezer that we're using, and made some modifications to it that you might find helpful. But so I'm going to get the other trays. We're going to let that freeze dry and check in a little bit later and see how they look. So you might be wondering, why are we freeze drying flowers? What's the point? Well, one of my daughters, my youngest daughter, she has been drying flowers, and then she'll maybe take the petals and make them into an arrangement like a flower, or even just laminate them and give them as gifts, and she likes to do that or put them in a card. And as we were talking about the freeze drying process, she kind of made the connection, because we've talked about how when you freeze dry things, they don't really lose much of their color. And she asked, well, could we freeze dry some flowers instead of trying to press them and dry them and different things that she's been trying. And so that's why we're doing this. We're going to give this a whirl. Hey, process is done, freeze drying the flowers. It went really fast. I regret that I didn't look to see how long the process took. I suppose I could download the log and take a look at that. I put some extra dry time on it, but I do know that I think it maybe took 8 hours. I don't even think it took 12 hours. I know it was less than 12 hours. I did give it some extra dry time, which I don't really know if that's necessary or not, especially with the stems, because the stems, right, it might be a little hard to draw the water out of the stems. But it was a very fast process. So I'm going to get these out. We're going to take a look at these and see where we go from there. If you want to learn more about the freeze drying process, you can take a look at one of our videos about that. I've got just sort of an introduction that I had done for family and friends. I'm going to lay these out here, and we'll be back in just a second here. Well, these look really good. I want to bring you in here, get some better light, bring you in here a little closer, but these look really good. These here are chives. The flowers of a chive. If you've never done that, the chives get the little flower bulbs on the top, the little balls of flowers. You can dry those, dehydrate them, or in our case, we freeze dry them, and they actually work as a seasoning. Now, I think my daughter might be using these as maybe as a display thing. We're not really sure what we'll be doing with these, but I do have to say, it tastes good. I like them. Well, I better stop eating before I eat my daughter's flowers, which are meant for her to be able to do something with for crafts, and I'll bring in your clothes, get some better light. Okay, here they are. Well, I hope it's showing up okay. I had a really nasty glare on the trays, so I put it on this towel. Hopefully draw it out. Now, one thing I've noticed is they are very brittle. And these are smaller. This was just an experiment, so I'm not sure if she'll be able to make use of these for putting in cards and stuff. But it did work. Here you can see how brittle they are. This one rubbed up against some of the others, and it, as I was moving it around, and there they just fall right off. So she might be able to use these petals for some of her projects. I did put some in some jars that we had. Sorry about the shadow there. You can see how those look. Now, nobody's ever accused me of being a professional, I don't know what the right word is, flower arranger or whatever the right word is, but this was something I just threw together. I had some jars down here in the basement. We've got all of our canning jars and everything, and I threw those in there. Alright, so one thing we noticed is that if we take the flower and we just go like this, it just falls apart. So she's just kind of plucking some of these out of here and putting them in her jar of flower petals for whatever it is that she might have a use for, whatever projects she might have. And yeah, I'm enjoying some Snickerdoodles cookies as well here, so that's what's going on. So it's really cool. I'll do that one more time here. Like that, and they just fall apart. And the other thing that we had talked about, as I had mentioned to her, you know, if we had some bigger flowers, you could peel the petals off the flower as well, and then lay them flat and freeze them and see how they freeze. If they freeze flat, then they work great for when she laminates them or puts them into a card or something. So there you have it. Something a little different here at Foxcan Farms. Freeze-dried flowers. And yeah, it's kind of a fun little experiment. And maybe we'll do that with some bigger flowers. These are just some small flowers we had around and we gave it a whirl. I like the way it turned out. I think we'll be able to do something with it. It'll be kind of fun. And other than that, oh, there is one more thing coming up here on winter. And of course, people will be making snowman and stuff. And I just recently learned what it is that snowmen eat for breakfast. Maybe you know this, but yeah, they eat frosted flakes. Yeah, that's what they say anyway. So other than that, make it happen.